We are going on to the next topic. Black Lives Matter. Black lives do matter, along with all other lives. Brown, yellow, white, all lives matter. But at the end of the day, Trinidadians were following the trend that is occurring in America recently, and they were all protesting against the killing of George Floyd. The hypocrisy about it is George Floyd himself was a known criminal, right? He was incarcerated on many occasions. One of the crimes that he committed was armed robbery, and it was against an innocent pregnant woman in her own home. She was held at gunpoint, right? And also he was also incarcerated for other crimes of robbery and drug use and so forth during a long period of time, right? Now, I myself condemn the killing of George Floyd, but my point is that he was a criminal. He was not this law-abiding citizen that had a very admirable past or history to speak about. Right? This man was a criminal. And yet, everyone, all in Trinidad, cried out, "We need justice, no peace. No justice, no peace." Everyone cried out that they wanted justice for George Floyd, despite him being a what? A criminal. Right? Remember that, because now we're coming now to the point of the individuals in Mova. These are so-called criminals. Some probably are. I don't know. I'm not a judge, right? And I'm not God to know that. But people claim that these guys are criminals, right? And therefore, Trinidadians are saying that these guys, it's okay that the police officers killed them because these were criminals that killed people, right? So, wait a minute. If you're an American citizen and you're killed by a white police officer, it's Black Lives Matter. It's wrong. We need justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. But when it's our Trinidadian brothers and sisters that are killed by police officers, it's okay. Because these were criminals. They were criminals. The woman who was recording a video during the protests on the Beatum, was she a criminal also? And yet Trinidadians are saying, some, not all, but some Trinidadians are saying that she looked for what she get because she had no right to be there. So wait, but yet all of you that are saying that were encouraging the actual lawlessness that was occurring in America recently, where people from Antifa and Black Lives Matter groups were actually going into these communities and burning down businesses, looting and burning down businesses, burning down buildings, right? Actually destroying infrastructure in communities. And yet we were supporting it. And Christians and all in Trinidad, some Christians and all on TBN and stuff like that, were supporting it and saying, well, these people are hurt. And these people are tired of the injustice, so they are just speaking out and they are just expressing themselves. But here in Trinidad, because these people from the ghetto decided to burn some tires, right? They are lawless. They are doing wrong. They have no right to be obstructing the roadways. And yet, since I've been growing up as a child, and this has been occurring long before I was even born, Trinidadians are known for burning rubbish and burning tires as a means and a way of getting the attention of the politicians and those that are in authority. That is a norm. That is known. They are not, the majority at least, are not going and looting anywhere and burning down buildings like what's occurring in America. And yet, even in America, there are many legitimate protesters that are really seeking justice for a police service that is also full of corruption and officers that behave as though they are above the law, that they are law unto themselves, right? And I have said that in my post recently, that the legitimate protesters have valid reasons for protesting in America. And therefore, in Trinidad right now, the protesters have valid reasons. Because for years, the people, especially in the lower class, have been experiencing police brutality, police abuse, verbal abuse, right? It is something that I have experienced for myself on many occasions. I have seen how police officers behave as though they are above the law and that you can't do them anything, and yet they can do you anything that they want. They can curse you and arrest you for probably even cursing. I saw it many years ago. They did an individual that in a bar years ago. The guy was arrested for cursing, and while arresting him, the officer was cursing him. Isn't it ironic? But no, the police officers in Trinidad and Tobago are all right. They are in the right. They have the right to kill, or they have their right to abuse people, right? They have the rights to tell people you cannot protest, which that is our constitutional rights to protest, and yet we are being told that we don't have that rights anymore, right? And that is really sad when people who just a few weeks ago were constantly sharing on Facebook their disgust of what occurred in America, because George Floyd's life matters. His life matters. But our own fellow brothers and sisters in Trinidad and Tobago, their lives don't matter because they are criminals and they are disobeying the law. They are going and protesting when they should stay home. But the people who are saying that were encouraging the citizens in America to protest. Why weren't you telling them to stay home also? It's beyond understanding. It's amazing. It's confusing. But I truly hope that good sense will prevail, and the majority of us who are right-thinking people in this country will come together and really call for justice, call for peace. We are calling for people who are protesting not to commit any acts of criminal acts, right? Unlawfulness, right? Acts of unlawfulness. No one wants that, right? And no one is saying that people should really be blocking the roadways either. But what I'm saying is you cannot compare that to the riots that are occurring in America. You cannot call that riots. That's not riots. That is not a riot. That has been part of our culture for decades. That has been part of our culture for decades. That's the way Trinidadians protest. So don't try to say that we are patterning or we are following the Americans. If we are following the Americans, we would have been going into the town areas or going into our own communities and burning down our own businesses in our communities. That's what we would have been doing. But we are not doing that. Trinidadians are not doing that. And the few that are doing that and going in town and causing havoc, they are getting arrested. And the police are right for arresting them. But you cannot tell me that the police officers and them are right for shooting live bullets, not rubber bullets, not tear gas, but live ammunition into crowds to disperse them. People are getting shot in their butts. People are getting shot in their arms. The pregnant lady died. Her unborn baby died. Why? Because police officers think that they have the authority to shoot into crowds to disperse it. to get them to move, to get them to leave. That can't be right. That could never be right. You cannot shoot unarmed civilians and say that is right. It is wrong. It is unjust. Those things only happen in a communist country. And those who are condoning this, you are condoning and you are encouraging communism. Have a good and a blessed evening, everyone.